If you've been doing coffee for a little while now, you probably have had the conversation with some friends or other enthusiasts, or just even the thought about how old is too old for coffee. Well, we're going to get into that. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Coffee Q&A, your daily dose of coffee Q&A here on the Owner Coffee channel. I'm Jay, your host, and today we're looking at old coffee. Well, is it old coffee? I guess it's old coffee. Kent, how are you? Good to see you. So, quite a few years ago, I was those of you who know me know that I've been do that I enjoy cigars from time to time. And quite a few years ago, I was hanging out at a cigar shop that my friend worked at, and one of the then new brand owners for cigars came into the shop, and we met and we started talking and got along really well. And we figured out, let's do a collaboration together on how to make coffee with cigars. And a lot of times people will make coffees that are, for whatever particular kind of product, and it's tending to be very general, kind of an overview. But my interest was like, let's work together and let's develop a coffee that will pair specifically to your cigar blend. Now, if you're not familiar with cigars, cigars are a tobacco product that has a very long history, as well as a very long process to make the cigar. So different varieties, like in coffee, different varieties of tobacco will be blended together to create, hopefully, a better whole. Now, like coffee, there's different varieties of tobaccos. There's different processing of tobaccos. There's different ways of fermentation. There's different ways of impacting the flavor of the tobaccos, just like there was with coffee. So it's a very complex world that is complex like coffee. So I thought there's a lot of, very symbiotic type of potential relationships there. So we started collaborating together, and the idea was to create a coffee blend that would pair specifically to this particular cigar, right? Because each cigar is kind of unique, and we wanted coffee that would be as equally unique to that cigar as we could. Now, it's a coffee blend that when we developed it, it was very good for general. Like if you wanted to drink it on your own, we actually offered this at Spro on the menu on a regular basis. So it was something that people would come in and drink, and they always enjoyed it. But it was really meant to be paired with this specific cigar. Now, you could drink it with other cigars or other whatever tobacco products you might enjoy, and it'd be very complimentary. But when you had it together, it was very unique, very interesting experience, and one that I was really excited to bring to market. And we offered it for many years. And I do a show on Thursday nights called Coffee and Cigars, and it's on a different channel called the Ono Live channel. And I recently featured the cigar from 2013 when we originally started, with the coffee from 2013, because I have this, right? This is one of the display boxes that we created for the coffees. And I got a display box because I wanted to have one for the shops, and I had an extra one, so I brought it home, and I actually put a bunch of bags in it from the original release that have been they've just been sitting around the house for like the last 13 years. And so since I had this one last cigar from the original release of the cigars in 2013, and I used it on the live stream last week, I was like, well, why not? I have the coffee. Let's try them together. And so today I thought we'd share it with you today to see how this coffee is doing now in 2026. 13 years later, this coffee was roasted back in that era. So it's pretty old. And, this is going to be as old a coffee as you'll probably see anywhere in the world today. Like, who keeps coffee from 2013? Nobody does. Nobody's crazy like this, right? Now, I wasn't really intending to keep this to try to see what it's like. I just kept it for posterity. But this is our display kit. So these were given to cigar shops to display on their shelves. And that's what it is. So let's have a look here and see what there is to see. This is the Fratello cigar blend coffee bag. As you can see, there's our company logo on it. And Omar De Frias is the name of the owner of Fratello Cigars. Omar's an interesting guy. He is originally from the Dominican Republic. and he's a very tall man, a very tall man. So he played basketball, of course, in the DR, came to the United States, and eventually found his way to NASA, where he was an administrator in Washington, D.C. for NASA, enjoyed cigars, and he wanted to start his own cigar blend. So he started doing it, and we met, and he's been going at it ever since. So he's done very well. We've always had a good friendship and partnership over the years, and I know that things are going well for him. Now, interesting thing about the Fratello is that he works with a company that I know the owners of, the Cuenca family down in Esteli, Nicaragua, and they make the cigars for him. And I met the Cuenca family quite a few years ago as well, because I tend to go to Nicaragua for coffee, and since I enjoy cigars, I'll go around and meet friends that are in the coffee industry there and the cigar industry there in Esteli, because Matagalpa is actually like an hour away from Esteli. So Esteli is cigar tobacco is meant to be a lowland, like a valley kind of growth, right? Whereas coffee's in the highlands in Matagalpa. So, just kind of like take the bus ride down. Oh, only once did I take the chicken bus, but you go down there and you enjoy it. But this cigar blend, well, here, I'll show you on our bags, we have some, you can see here, what I was really, one thing that I've always been kind of talking about. Power Plant, how are you, man? Good to see you. Is I'm really big into disclosures. Like, I like to tell people what it's all about. Like, and you can see here, so this is actually from 2014. So Fratello Blend 2014, you can see here, these are the coffees. La Quemta G4, 40%. Las Mercedes Piña 74, 40%. And then El Socorro Matazano 41 is 20%. Now, how did we come up with these? And one of the easiest, well, the way that we did it is I had one of my head roasters come and join me for the cupping, because she enjoyed cigars as well. And so I was like, we're working on this idea, so let's do some cupping. So we had basically, I guess, almost the entire, or at the time, I think we did a cupping of pretty much our entire catalog of coffees at the time. So we basically sat down, had a big spread of all these different coffees, and we just cupped them. We just started cupping, tasting them, individually tasting what characteristics do we like, what characteristics do we not like. And then what you do is you basically take them and this kind of ad hoc blending, and you're just taking some of the different samples and putting them into different ratios into a cup and just tasting it, mixing it together, homogenizing it, tasting it, and then seeing, okay, do we like that? Do we like this? And then from there, we come with some different ideas, then try brewing them together, and then eventually you just come together with this ratio of coffees. And that's what this ratio is here for the blend. And as you can see, La Quemta G4 is from Ethiopia, the Las Mercedes is El Salvador, and the El Socorro is from Guatemala. And then you can see the sourcing from Samuel Demise is one of the importers here. Roberto Dumont is the grower from Las Mercedes. And Juan Diego Lacerda is the grower in Guatemala. And then we also include the varietals. So in Ethiopia, there's not really as much breakdown as there are in other parts of the world, because it's really kind of where coffee comes from. So as you can see, this Ethiopian heirloom. Why is it Ethiopian heirloom? And you'll see this quite a few times in different places. A lot of times Ethiopian heirloom is because there's just so many different varietals of coffees and offshoots of varietals over the years, the generations, that no one's really categorized them really, really hard or really, really narrowly. So they just kind of lop it all into Ethiopian heirloom. And then Bourbon, we have 3 different types of Bourbon: red, yellow, and orange. And I no longer can remember which was the red, which was which farms they came from. And then as you can see here, it says post-blended medium roast. And there's 2 different ways of blending your coffees, right? You can do pre-roast blending, where you take all the green and you put that in the roaster and you roast it all together, and it homogenizes the blend as it's roasting, because it's, churning in there for 9 to 12 minutes. Or you can do post-roast blending, where you roast each individual coffee separately to whatever degree that you want, and then you blend them in together. And back then we were doing a lot of post roast blending because I just kind of like that idea. And then we do both, but I think that the post roast blending, if you wanted to roast a particular coffee in a different manner, it allows you to do that. Whereas the other one, of course, you're roasting it all to the same degree, right? So yeah, and that's kind of the idea. And then also on our bag, we talked. I like to show as much story as we can, so you can see here it tells a little bit about Omar and his journey from Santo Domingo and everything about that. A little bit about the Fratello cigars, right? So so here's the idea. So this cigar starts out with a round, peppery spiciness that moves into sweet earth notes, meaning by with full flavored cigar finishes with a turn of the spice. And then our blend has been designed with Omar and tobacconist Antonio Mosato to complement the Fratello cigar. It's a blend of Central American, East African coffees and features a warm, rounded base notes of dark chocolate with slight nuttiness, with mid-tones of berry sweetness and a finishing with a clean, lightly acidic brightness. So this is the idea, right? This is what we came up with. That was the flavors of the coffee that we felt balanced brilliantly with this cigar. So Powerplant says, I used to do my Panda roast, which is a light medium and a full city mixed at a 50-50 ratio of this. Oh, nice. I like that. That's a good way to go. I think it's really interesting when you do post roast blending because you can just get so many more different, maybe nuances, but more experimentation out of it, just a little bit more dynamism, right? And on the other side of the bag, I like to put brew recipes. So all of our bags were printed with different brew recipes, and these were actually the brew recipes we used in the shops. So you could at home you could replicate what we made for you. So I'm always very big in like telling people exactly what we do. Like to me, there's no secret, right? And this is what people ask me, like, well, what, like if even when like people would come to us and ask, hey, well, what can we want to get in the business, and I would share the information with them freely because what, it's my thought is always like, making coffee is relatively a simple game. Like it's not too hard, it's not too difficult overall, right? It's just basically putting hot water with ground beans, and you get a liquid out of it that is relatively drinkable. So I was always very much about like I didn't care if I was telling you like exactly our composition of the blend. Like, what does that mean? Like people are always like, oh, people might steal it. Oh, well, yeah, they could steal it, certainly, right? But you're not going to have the same access to the product that I have. And you're not going to roast it exactly the same way. You could become close. You can mimic it, certainly, but you'll never get it exactly. And that's the difference. And to me, that's the difference. Is like we just have all of this, and it's not a brag because what, I couldn't replicate. Let's say, for example, Intelligentsia, right? They have their Black Cat blend. Like I couldn't replicate that because I don't have access to their coffees, right? Jeff is out buying certain coffees for their blend and buying it from a certain producer. They have long-standing relationships, and they're probably having certain levels of processing and all this kind of stuff that's happening behind the scenes. That even though I might be able to get a similar coffee, I'm not going to be able to make the same thing. And that's why I was like, it doesn't really matter to me if we let everyone know, because I think people like to know. Well, maybe not everyone, but I think a certain segment of people would like to know, and if they would find it interesting. And I don't need to worry about like, is my competitors going to try to steal it? Like you can't steal it. And plus also, my thought is that what we do at Spro is difficult. It's a very difficult thing to do. It's taking this very simple process of grinding coffee and mixing with water to a different level. And if somebody's interested in doing that, I'm interested to know them, because to do what we do is very difficult. Like it's psychosis. It's just ridiculous. I'm interested into knowing you. Like if you're willing to go to this level of psychosis, I'm interested to know who you are and be friends with you and have open discussions. Like my friends in the business who I'm very, very much simpatico with, people like John Piquet or Miguel Meza. I was just talking to Miguel just the other day. I would say they're crazier. They're more psychotic than I am. So I'm very happy to like know them and and we have very open conversations about whatever sourcing and anything we're doing. So it's always very interesting in that respect. Power plant says, I used to home roast a lot, but I'm too busy. Yes, I get it, man. It's so they taking that time to like source the green and then take the time to roast it and then to wait. You're like, I gotta wait. I want to wait for the optimum time. I gotta wait 10 days. When you can just go buy it, it's already ready to go. I totally understand that. My neighbor also complained to me about the smell. Oh, really? I hope you're not too close. I hope you're not too close. Mom, how are you, man? Good to see you. Mom already saw this episode last week. So all right, so we're gonna take this coffee, we're gonna make it up and see what we got here. Let's get our little monkey pod bowl. Now I did open this last week, and I guess I'm wrong. I keep saying 2013. We started the project in 2013. I guess it's 12 years, not 13 years. So 2014, roasted April 18th, 2014. I did not roast this. Somebody else roasted this because that's not my signature. All right, I already cut open this last Thursday, so in case you might be wondering. So let's have a look here. What hits me on the aroma is a very strong scent of nuttiness, like peanuts, peanut shells. Yeah. So what does that mean? Like typically when you get this kind of peanut shell thing, it's pretty much old. That's really what it's saying. It's past its due. Now here's something to think about. You may have heard people talk about coffees that get old and they start to emanate. You can see there's the roast degree, kind of like this nice medium roast. They start to emanate like oils. That tends to happen the darker you roast it, right? Like if you go a little bit deeper with the roasting, then as it gets older, the oils will start to come out. But even this one now, 12 years later, there's no oils on it. So it's a very dry coffee in that respect, right? So, and remember yesterday we were talking about the different densities of coffee. You can see this one right down there in the center. The one that's kind of all by, so you totally see its light. That's the Lekemte G4. That is the Ethiopian. And why do we know this? Because that's, like I said yesterday, these lower density beans don't get the same roast degree, and this is a hallmark of, natural process Ethiopian. So we're going to get rid of that one I don't know, why are we getting rid of it? It's not going to make a difference this late in the game, but why not? Why not? All right. So today we're going to brew with the Kogu wired dripper, which I haven't used very often. So we got to have that. And we're going to pair it with the Kogu brewing thing. And since the Kogu filters are somewhere else, I've got the Hario filters. So keep it all kind of Japanese going on here. All right, let's get we need a scale. Let's get our scale here. And our little power plant. I don't know if you ever recognize this, but this is a measuring cup I picked up in Tokyo several years ago. I think it's graduated in milliliters, 50, 75, 100, 125. But I'll be honest with you, I saw the guys at, what is it called? Omotesando Coffee. And they were using this as their measuring cup. And I was like, that is a cool looking cup. I was like, that is a cool cup. Where can I get that? And I just remember seeing, I think I even took a picture of it. And I was like, and then as I was walking around Tokyo Hands later, I was like, oh, there it is. So I grabbed like two of these. I just like the style of it. I just like the style. Power plant says, yeah, I know that cup. Oh, did I zero that out? Oh, I did. Okay. Naomi says 12-year-old coffee. I hope it. Well, I since I did use this on the stream last week, on the coffee and cigars stream, I did not get ill last week. So hopefully we won't get ill today. But now it's been exposed to whatever bacteria and parasites for the last week. Let's go a little bit more. 24.5. Okay, good. Who knows what's going to happen today? Who knows? But we're going to risk it. I'm going to risk it for you, right? Because my dedication is to you guys. All right, so we're going to go here now. Number 6. We're going to start with the number 6. Yesterday on the Hoop Brewer, the 6 was. Did I say the 6 was too fast? I think the 6 was fast. Or no, the 6 was slow. I don't remember. Gosh. Getting old already. Getting old. Okay, so let's grind. Hopefully we won't get clogged. Now, what I think happened last time is that this thing was a little bit off. It was probably sitting like this, so it backed up and clogged the auger. This time it's seated correctly. Yeah, it's a very peanut shell fragrance. Not very like tantalizing, to be honest. Not tantalizing much at all. But we can't expect. Although there's a bready, definitely peanut shell, like peanut shell in a very, very hard way. Actually, I smell more peanut shell this time than I did on the other stream because, well, partially it's probably because I don't have as clean an environment in the garage as I do here. There's a light. I'm trying to think what that. I want to say there's a fruit. There's a dry fruit like a prune. The prune kind of fruit fragrance on it. Interesting. Okay, let's get this all together now. If I can remember, I totally mucked this up yesterday. So hopefully I can remember that to do all the procedures correctly this time. Gray Suit says, don't do. It's all right, man. It's for you. Okay, let's see here. 231. Okay, so now I got to remember to tear it out. Now we're going to add the coffee. Oh, you know what? Gosh. Every once in a while. In television, live television, there's something things will happen in live television. I used to do live television when I first started out in television years and years ago, in television movie production. And there's something that things will happen, and then you may have to, the director may tell you to stretch. We're in that position right now where we have to stretch because I totally forgot to heat the water and I just turned it on. So now we got to stretch a little bit to see. So, no live stream tomorrow. Gosh, I hope not. That'd be terrible. No, I think we'll be okay. We will be okay. Let's just shake this out so that it's nice and flat. Make sure this is all flat. We got a couple moments to take care of this. Yeah. So how are you guys all doing? Anything happened during the I know some of you got affected by the blizzard that happened here on the East Coast. Evidently there may be some flurries today. Here in Maryland, we didn't get really much of it. I mean, we got a bit, like maybe upwards of 6 inches, but luckily where I am, it had been relatively warm. So a lot of that snow melted. So my cleanup on Monday morning wasn't terrible. I mean, it took a long time, but it wasn't terrible. Not like the last snow. That was terrible because the last snow, I started shoveling like at 7:30 in the morning. I think I went out there at 7:30. And by the time that I started shoveling, it was all powder. It's beautifully light and just easy to shovel. And it was like maybe 6-7 inches by that time. But it's all powder, so it's no problem. But then right around 8:30, it started to sleet. And I was like, now it's getting bad. And it was cold. It was so bitterly cold. But like it was still cold enough on like Monday where like my gloves are like I've got these like really high-tech North Face Gore-Tex gloves, but they're like from 1997. So whatever Gore-Tex is that used to be in there is no longer Gore or Texy. So like after like maybe half an hour, I get to the point where I can almost not feel, like basically like on the last snowstorm, like I got to this one point where I couldn't feel my pinky and I was like, I need to go inside now because that usually comes with amputation. So we don't want to do that. Gray Suit says, I've seen Hoffman do something like this. He's been different. That's when he got that weird accent, right? That guy, he's a strange dude. He's just ever since he had that coffee, he's a strange guy. We don't know who he is anymore. If I start to have like ticks, then you'll know that there's something wrong. There's something wrong out there. Come on, baby. I just saw that there's going to be a new series of For All Mankind. For All Mankind, season 5. I saw that the what is it the trailer came on my feed, but I didn't watch it yet. So I was like, I don't want to get too excited about it. Like I don't want to be excited about something that I'm not going to be able to watch for a while, right? Like there was a trailer that came out for I think it's the next Avengers or Marvel movie or whatever it is, and they were like, it's coming. And I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. I was like, coming December 2026, like December 2026. It's only January 2026. I got to wait almost a year. I really dislike that. So I don't know. We're just all right. It's coming along. It's boiling. Now we're gonna need to use our kettle. We're gonna go all Kogu today. We're gonna use the Kogu kettle, which I kind of like. It's nicely done. Yeah. Just waiting for water. Can't watch the water because it's going to boil. Obusa says that it's For All Mankind March 27th. Okay, that's not too bad. That's okay. I will watch the trailer then. So a friend of mine was just telling me to watch this show that's a couple years old called oh no, I can't remember. It's on Apple and it is about a woman whose father has like evidently one of the most epic wine collections in the world. Drips of God, I think it's called Drips of God. My friend was like, dude, you need to watch that. You'll enjoy that. I was like, all right. And I have to look. I was looking it up the other day. I was like, got that. And then I did watch. What did I watch? I watched that movie. It's a couple years old as well, but it's a Japanese movie called Shinkansen Express. No, it's called. Probably might know this one. It was, I guess it was pretty popular. It's based on a movie from the 70s about the Shinkansen train, and they have a bomb on it, and they're gonna blow it up. And I was like, oh. I saw the trailer. I came across a trailer on YouTube one day, and I was like, well, that's interesting. And so I found a version of it that has an English dub, the English dub wasn't bad. I was like, oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. PowerPlan says Ted Lasso was canceled and revived. Oh, and Apple has a lot of sleepers. People keep telling me that. I need to see more of it. I need to have more time. Really, that's kind of the whole thing, is to have the time. Like you don't have the time to like roast. I don't really have the time to watch shows. I did watch a show last night because I hung out with some friends and they were watching this. They like that TV series FBI International, FBI whatever, and then FBI. So they have a new series called CIA, and I saw that the very first episode. I saw that. It was not bad. It was not bad. I'm not gonna probably won't rush out to watch it all the time, but. Oh, I think there's a character. There's a woman, an actress in FBI, not Missy Peregrine, but another one whose face looks so familiar to me. And I kept trying to figure out who it was. And now thinking about it, I think she might have been the same actress that was in For All Mankind. I'm going to have to look that up. All right, so our water is boiling. That didn't take too long. We're going to fill it up so we have nice amounts of. Each network series are each. Okay, here we go. Now let us begin. We're going to press this before Naomi tells me that I did it wrong again. And now we start. Well, that's a fairly fine looking grind. I gotta say, aroma is coming off of here like some kind of baking, but like stale baking. Gotta say, not terribly exciting. It's all right, Grace Suit. It's all right. We will persevere. We will persevere. Let's get to the 100 mark. All right, we're trying to go for that 100 grams per minute pace, which we may be. It may slow down a bit. I just heard from a friend of mine. She's in town, and I was like, "Oh, what brings you to town?" She's like, "I've got to go to this dinner. I'm going to this event for the Star Chefs organization." I was like, "Really?" I was like, "The one in DC?" She's like, "On Tuesday." She's like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, good. I'll see you there," because they invited me to come to that as well. So I was like, "All right." All right, we're 140. So we are getting some slowdown now already. And you can see how the filter has become very brown. So there's been a lot of fines. Definitely very fine. We should definitely have gone coarser. Oh, well, that's all right. Make sure we get good extraction out of this at least. Flavors of cardboard. It could very well be. It could very well be. Although I didn't think it was, from what I remember last week, I don't think it was horrible. I forgot to put the link to the stream. I'll make sure that after we're done today, I will put that link on here. So in case you want to see my reaction last week to this coffee, you can. But at the very least, this should be a good encouragement to you to not hold on to your coffees too long. They're not too precious, right? They're not precious enough to hold on for a long time. Drink it now. And that's one thing I've been thinking about also recently with a lot of things. Like, we like to collect things, but really it's okay if they're ephemeral. It's okay if they go away. Oh yeah, 3 minutes, we're at 226. So yeah, definitely we would have been better had we ground it coarser. So add a little bit more. That's the one thing. Once you start going, you really can't. No matter how much water you add to it, it's not gonna go any faster. So it's like a. All right, let's see here. I missed the beginning, says Naomi. Was the coffee in the freezer for 12 years? No. The coffee has been out in the open in this shelf talker for like 12 years. It's never been in the freezer. It has. This coffee was never intended to be used this way. Like I said earlier to everyone, that this is actually a display box that we created to go onto the shelves at cigar shops to help sell the coffee. And I got a couple of them for the stores. And this is the last one that I had, so I kept it. The third one that I had, or fourth one, and I just filled it with the bags of coffee from the production, just because I was like, oh, let me just keep some coffee, and maybe I want to drink it. I never drank it because I kind of liked it sitting around the house. I was like, oh, it's a little, just a little thing for posterity. So it just sat around, and then when I found this cigar, 336 for the live stream, I was like, let me do the cigar. Oh, I remember I had that coffee. Why don't this, since it's the original release of the cigar from that same time, 2020, I guess 2014, then maybe it's we'll see how they go, because they were designed to go together back then, and we smoked them and drank them together for the live stream, and that's why I used it. So I thought, well, I just got the bag open, let's do it here and share with you guys the potentially the horror. At the very least, this is a way for you to know not to do this kind of thing. There we go. All right, 356, just like says. Gray Suit says, a few months out, sure, fine. Years, that's what makes coffee. That's what makes coffee fun, new stuff to try. Yeah, no doubt about that. This is what we do here. This is why I'm existing here to do things so that you don't have to do them, and you can benefit from my foolishness and attempt to making content for YouTube. All right, so that's pretty much it. Look at that. It's all like tight. Like, that's a very fine grind. Like, that seems a lot finer than it used to at that setting. We'll just dump that out. All right, let's look at it. There it is. Ooh. So when in this state, especially ground, very like peanut shell kind of fragrances, and when it's now brewed, that peanut shell is kind of toned down. That weird like prune dry fruitiness is somewhat there. It doesn't smell like but it doesn't smell like ooh either, right? It's not. It's very like neither of those things. Okay, let's see here. Gray Suit says, if it makes you feel better, I smoke a 1950s Cuban in poor condition. It's interesting you say that, because one year we were at a cigar event, and this guy brought a box. He had bought, this was probably like, gosh, I want to say it was 2017 this happened. But he had bought a 1940s era box of Cuban cigars made for the Third Reich. Like, it had Third Reich markings on it. I was like, whoa, really, that Third Reich box? So at the time, I think the cigar was like 77 years. Is that right? A little tiny like Figurado. It actually smoked nicely. I was really, really surprised. Really surprised. And that Fratello, that's from, I guess, 2014, surprisingly well. Like, I really enjoyed it. I was like, oh, I wonder what. It reminds me now, I need to go find a Fratello dealer and buy another one to see how are they in modern times. Okay, so first of all, this was a bad brew, right? Because it turned out it's very fine, so very long brew, so it's very over extracted. So the bitterness, the intensity is very like unpleasant, and the finish is just not nice at all. Oh man, like, there's an intensity to it that is just pungent. Pungent is the best word. It's not. So, like, if you were to get the Folgers, or should I say the Folgare, like if you get the Folgare, like, it's It's bad. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. This is not like that. It's not pleasant, but it's not bad, if that makes any sense. But it's definitely a demonstration that you should not be drinking coffee this old. Like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some bypassing. I know you guys love the bypassing. So I'm going to add some bypassing because basically it's just heavily extracted. So it's not very pleasant. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. See if that'll loosen it up. Really, it's just really tight and right? Like just not. Okay, that's a little bit better. But there's that bitterness, man. There's a sharp bitterness, a pungent bitterness. Like if there was ever a time that I wish I had pastries to eat with this, now is the time. Now, but there is some interesting character. Like now that I've added some of this bypass water to, balance out the extraction a little bit. There's a pungency to it. Surprisingly, there's kind of a lemony finish. Like that's just very strange. It does have this lemony character. It's very, 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 very interesting. It's actually kind of interesting in this respect. Actually, I'm going to take a photo for the Substack. Okay, so that lemony finish now is giving way to a. Okay, the lemony finish is gone now. Now it's this dry, tannic kind of finish, right? Like when you drink like a young oak aged Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon, or even like a Chardonnay, like an oaked Chardonnay that's got that dry, tannic finish. It's kind of got that. All right, not great, but not terrible. Wait, kidding? Don't do that. What did I miss? But there is. Since you said Grace, you did say about flavors of cardboard. It doesn't have a cardboardy taste, right? Sometimes you get the cardboard taste. This does not have that. I would have thought they would have had that based on the kind of very peanut shell fragrance we had early on, but honestly, like there is like dry notes. It's not remarkable. Well, it's remarkable in the fact that it's not really great, but it's not terrible. Like it's not horrific. Like you have all had worse coffees than this. Like there is some coffees that are truly god awful, and this is not in that god awful category. It's just kind of in this weird, like there's no so if you have a bag, like if you go through your house and you find bags of coffees that are just from long time ago, donate them to somewhere. Get rid of them. There's no redeeming qualities that make you want to think that it's going to be great. Now, in my experience, we have done experimentation aging green coffees, and we've had some very nice results from aged green. Age roasted, there is definitely nothing to be gained from age roasted. Like once you get past a point, and I think that point is like 2 years out. Once you're 2 years out, it just falls off the cliff, right? So I think the way that I've seen, especially in the last 5-6 years when we've done more of this kind of experimentation is that you've got your coffee, you roast it, and then it roasts and then it goes fallow because of the I should start here. It roasts and then it goes fallow because of the degassing, and then it starts to come back, and then it climbs, it climbs, it climbs, it climbs, and it peaks. There's a peak, like maybe within the first 2 weeks or maybe the first 3 weeks of past roast, it's going to peak, right? And then it has this little bit of decline. And I find that decline continues for like maybe 2, 3 months. And then after that point, it kind of like levels out and then goes for like 2 years. And then it just kind of falls off the cliff. And it's after that point. So like if you wait like that month or 2 months, or the 2 months or 3 months, then your coffee is going to be relatively stable for quite a while. And then you want to drink it. So I think that's why companies like Starbucks that have such large distribution, you don't really get the coffee until it's 6 months old in their distribution networks. So because that's part of it, it'll last. It's reached a point where the flavor variances will not be great, so they can deliver consistency to the guests, to the customers. All right. Well, so the Fratello coffee, when it was brand new, fantastic, great pairing, wonderful coffee. We sold a lot of it. 12 years later, don't drink it. Today's takeaway is don't drink old coffee, right? Like this is old, right? That's way too old to be drinking coffee. Yeah. When your coffee has reached the age that Alyssa Liu was when she first won the national titles, that coffee's way too old. Way too old. Right? So, all right. I guess that's all that I have for today. That's my takeaway. So hope that helps. I don't know. Now that I finished the 2 live streams of this is going to go back into the bag and sealed up, and it's going to go back on my shelf. We're just going to sit there for the rest of eternity to be preserved in posterity. All right, so thanks for tuning in. Always glad to see all of you. Always happy that you're here, and back again tomorrow. So hope you have a great one, and see you next time.